Donald Trump says Iran war will be over in 2 weeks. Oil price to crash afterward. I think that's a very good one. Yes. I also saw on one of the media where the Iranian president are saying they are ready for the war to be brought to a halt if only a proper agreement will be reached. Yes, all these are indications that this war is indeed winding down. This war should be brought to a halt. Enough of the bloodshed, enough of the killings. All this should be settled. All the differences between all of these countries should be overseen and taken care of. Let us all move on. It is Israel, Iran, and in the Middle East that this war is being fought. But the negative impact of this war is mainly felt in my country, Nigeria. Come to Nigeria and see how people are suffering as a result of the war between Iran, Israel, and the US. Let me read this news to just add this to this very message. They are paper tiger. Trump considers US withdrawal from NATO after allies refused backing war in Iran. Donald Trump called NATO allies paper tigers. You see, during the course of this war, Donald Trump expected fellow NATO allies to join him in the fight against Iran, but they refused, and he is threatening to pull out of NATO. I have no problem with him pulling out. If NATO is of no use to you, if NATO is not useful to the US government in a time like this, it's advisable for you to pull out. And I am very convinced that if the US pulled out of NATO, NATO will indeed become a paper tiger. US is the oxygen of that thing they call NATO. Yes, US is at war against Iran, rightly or wrongly. Their fellow allies should be giving backing to the US. This is the truth. This is why they have an alliance. When you are in an alliance with other countries, in a situation like this, when you are in alliance with other countries, when situations like this arises, you are expected to have the backing, the support of your fellow allies. But that was not to be. So I advise President Donald Trump to indeed pull out of NATO. When the likes of Germany, France, Spain, UK, and other NATO allies have situations tomorrow, they won't have US to also call upon. Yes, that is what it is. However, the United States, led by President Donald Trump, would have been convinced now that Iranian leadership is not an easy nut to crack. They weren't easy to just push aside. Yes, now President Donald Trump have testified towards that. The way he thought this war would be was not the way the war went. Every parties have felt the impacts. There have been lives lost in the side of the US, the side of Israel, and the Iranian side. Properties have been destroyed in Iran, in Israel, and in the Middle East countries. Properties owned by the US government. So you see, I think peace is all we should be asking for at this point in time. Enough of the bloodshed, enough of the life taking. You see these properties that have been destroyed just in 1 month, it will cost all of these countries involved in this war years to be able to build it back, to rebuild back all these infrastructures that have been destroyed in the course of this Iranian-Israeli-US war. It will take years because several aircraft were damaged, were brought down, several facilities were destroyed on both sides. You see, in a war, there are often no winners. That's the truth. You cannot come out and say, I'm the winner of that war. How can you be a winner when you have life lost, you have properties destroyed in ranging to billions of dollars? No, now, there are often no winners. Of course, you can recover the properties that have been damaged in the course of time. Yes, it will only take time for you to recover them back. But what about the lives that have been lost? Do you know how many US Marines, how many US soldiers went down in the course of this war? Do you know how many Israeli soldiers went down in the course of this war? What about the Iranian soldiers? Do you know how many went down? Do you know how many innocent citizens went down in the course of this war? Enough of all these killings. The world leaders should be building a war that is peaceful, a war that is habitable for even the poorest to live in. Enough of all of these killings here and there. Donald Trump, if you want to exercise your power, sir, please come to my country, Nigeria. There's a lot to do here. If it takes you the entire resources in my country to make Nigeria peaceful, we wouldn't mind.